Good there.
A little pumpkin seed action.
Wait, I forgot to clean my room too. Hold up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
$2.98
Hello.
a bag at Walmart.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ice Cold Takes podcast. I'm your host, Joey DeMecklio, and today I'm joined by my good pals, Nick and Evan, who want to clean up their room right as we're doing this. Couldn't do it before. To talk about this last week of Rangers hockey. Lots of stuff to talk about today. We got Kreider, we got Edstrom, Blake Wheeler, Igor Shesterkin, and so much more. There's a lot of stuff here. So, fellas, how we doing on this fine Saturday afternoon?
Can't complain. Happy Saturday. Just a weekend.
Same.
I'm a little scared for tonight. Just a bit. Casually just playing, one of the best teams in hockey with our number one goalie not playing the sharpest. So,
yeah, I know.
I'm also concerned, like, based on how the Rangers played the Bruins last time. I feel like the Bruins might come out with the floodgates open in the first period. It might be like shots might be like 20-5.
I'd agree, but it's probably going to be a lot tighter, because both these teams played yesterday, or not tighter, but it might be chaotic on both sides because both these teams played last night, and Austin went to a shootout, so the Rangers might have the edge in that.
They're extra tired. Yeah, but I mean, the Rangers played the Leafs after they were on a back-to-back, and the Leafs looked completely fine. What's up, Matt?
We won't talk about that. No, we won't talk about that one.
Yeah. Actually, that game, all right, so that first 20 minutes, that was like probably the worst 20 minutes the Rangers played. That was the worst first period they had all season. But then they got themselves back in the game, and then some bullshit call in the start of the third, like, completely turned the game around. Like, if that wasn't called, I don't know, man. I think the Leafs still win that game, but I think the Rangers it might be closer. It might be like 5-4 or 6-5, not 7-3. You know what I mean?
It's not like JV versus varsity. It's maybe like the starters and JV versus the backups and varsity or something.
I don't know what that referee was seeing though on that call. Referees in general though, very interesting. I didn't talk about that Kings game on the show because it happened on Sunday and I recorded it on Saturday. But what did you guys think of that? Like, everybody's getting a misconduct. They're piling everybody into the box. Zibanejad gets a misconduct. Fiala gets a misconduct. Trocheck's getting penalties. Lindgren's getting penalties.
I mean,
that screamed over calling. That to me, at least.
I mean, they were consistent. I was surprised. Like, they took one from each team on those misconducts. Like, they evened it out. I was like, all right. I mean, that's one way of doing it. I just wouldn't blow the whistle at all in the third period.
Those refs were soft. They were just throwing guys out for chirping them. Like, give me a fucking break.
Yeah. I think Tim Peel was talking about that. What was it in the NBA? Jokic, right? That's how you say the guy's name, Jokic.
Oh yeah.
Got thrown out for saying something to the referee. That's crazy. I think
it's ridiculous.
You just get thrown out just because you don't agree with the call.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes, right? I mean, you can't upset people with egos, so. You just get tossed out for having an opinion.
Matt says Trouba and Gustafsson should be broken up tonight. They've been terrible the last 2 games.
Yeah.
I agree. I would like to see Gustafsson and Fox together.
I just don't understand why they even broke up like the normal pairings. Like, I was talking to Stat Boy Steven about it, and it's just like, why do they think it makes sense? Just because Miller's out, why do you have to break up the Gustafsson-Schneider pair? Why don't you just throw Jones with Trouba? If that pair's more comfortable together, if Gustafsson's more comfortable playing with Schneider, then just go ahead and keep them together. I don't understand why they have to break that pair up.
I think if they're going to use Jones, they should just shelter him in the offensive zone. I'm talking like 75%, 85% of his starts have to be in the offensive zone because that guy's a wizard in the offensive zone. Like,
have we gotten anything about when Miller's going to come back today?
I don't know, man.
I don't want to speculate on that.
I haven't looked. I don't want to look into. I don't want to go on his account, like his Instagram account, and look at that stuff. Like, I don't want to see people be like, "Oh, you're too soft" or something like. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how people are reacting to that, so I don't want to get involved with that. I hope he's okay.
That's kind of what I'm more concerned about.
Yeah, I heard he started skating again with the team, so that's a good thing.
That's the thing that was weird. He skated with the team and then didn't play yesterday. That's a little odd to me.
Yeah,
odd.
Yeah, it must be something. Something must be going on. But
could be like an anxiety thing.
Yeah, whatever. Let's just let him ride. Like he's a good guy and stuff. I like him a lot. But speaking of people filling in, Adam Edstrom. How about that performance?
Who's Adam Edstrom? You mean don't you mean Brian Bola 2.0?
Ooh, that's a good. It's an interesting comparison. Yeah, like it's a good size comparison. That guy was bodying people all over the ice last night.
Once his foot speed gets to the NHL level, he could be this light is killing me. He could be a really effective fourth line center. And maybe even a top 9 guy. Maybe kind of like a power play 2, park his giant ass in front of the net type deal. Who knows? But I like the way he played. And he's putting up decent numbers in Hartford, and he put up decent numbers overseas as well. He has offense to his game. He's more than just a big Godsity dude that's just out there. Like he's actually a talented hockey player.
Laugh for MVP. Joan Schneider versus Boston's top line is the hydrogen bomb versus the coffee baby. That's good. That's a good one.
I mean that pair is a dumpster fire too. They weren't as bad last night, but they still just can't be a pair. And I would seriously, next time there's an injury or someone's out for whatever it is, I would seriously look at just giving Connor Mackey the minutes. Like I'm at the point where.
Wait, what about Robertson?
I'm at the point where I would just. I don't care if they waive Zach Jones at this point. I really don't care. I just don't see it with him anymore on either side of the puck. Don't see what he brings at this point. And I don't see him as anything more than a 7th defenseman anymore. And what does it hurt to try someone else at this point? Because Gustafsson, I don't think he could handle, or at least him playing with Trouba just hasn't worked. Like that pair, they were straight up dog shit last night. Let's not sugarcoat it. Like those two couldn't break the puck out at all. And then Gustafsson, I don't know what. Period. What'd you say?
Rough first period.
Terrible.
Really bad. Really bad.
Yeah, they were horrendous. I mean, the second period too was underratedly a nightmare. It just gets covered up with Jonathan Quick bailing the team out. But
standing on his head again, by the way.
Yeah, he stood on his head and he really kept the Rangers in that game last night. And nobody talks about it because they look at, the Rangers had 2 goals after that period and they didn't allow anything there in that second. That's great, but that was all Jonathan Quick making diving saves nonstop because there was countless times Jacob Trouba was caught out of position. There was countless times Gustafsson was puck watching, and those two need to be better, especially because I don't know what's happening with Gustafsson. Ever since Fox came back, he's not been the same. I don't know what it is. Is he more comfortable playing on the right side with Ryan Lindgren? I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, interesting. I saw Gustafsson make like a good play in the 3rd period, I think it was, when I rewatched the game. Also, by the way, ESPN Plus's quality, like when rewatching it, it's garbage. Like it buffers and the quality goes to like a potato, like as you're watching it. So it goes from like 720 or 1080p, and then it just dips down to like 144p. And like there's like no option to like change the thing. So I have to like close out of the app, reopen it, and then it'll say like error retrieving content. I'm also using a VPN now. So yeah. In the process of cutting the cord for cable.
Good. Screw cable.
Yeah.
And screw subscriptions.
For
everything.
But back to what you were saying about like Edstrom and on the power play. Didn't they use Boyle on the power play a couple times for that exact
His giant ass was always in front of the
net.
net.
Yeah, just to keep him in front of the net. Like I think Torch used him.
You're hard pressed to find a goalie that could see over him.
Yeah. Honestly, like the one shot, I think Panarin shot it and Edstrom was screened. Like the goalie, Dostal, however you pronounce his name.
The fact that we almost made him look good blew my mind.
He had to look so far over to the right to get around that screen, and the puck came back to the other side. Like Panarin was just like, I'm going to shoot this. It hit the crossbar, I think. I'm pretty sure that was the play, but Edstrom was like forced. And he also wasn't like, he didn't have stones for hands.
No, he was by no means ever like, when he was on the ice, it was never like, oh God, just keep the puck away from it. It never felt like that. Whereas I think we have like 3 or 4 guys on the team where it's like, when they're on the ice, it's like, please keep the puck the F away from them. Edstrom didn't feel like that. It's kind of nice that we have another guy that came up, is going to play the role that he's put in pretty well. Might have a bad game or two, But overall, be a net positive, and then get sent back down in favor of keeping out Gaudreau, Blake Wheeler, and whoever else we decide to trot out, which kind of sucks.
Laugh brings up a good point. If Heedle and Kako come back and Wheeler keeps up the play, I would be okay with getting a shutdown D-man rather
Wheeler.
than. Hang on a second. Let's hear him out first. Blake Wheeler. This is very small sample size. Last 2 games played at 5v5. 71.11 Corsi 4 percentage. That's 2 goals too as well. 60% high danger chances for, 80% goals for percentage.
And before that,
I don't know before that.
trash.
I know, but I know. The Rangers. I saw that someone was posting about like Kako and how the Rangers are missing him, and it's like, all right, I understand that he was good defensively, but offensively, he really wasn't contributing much.
And if the team's missing Kako this much, there's bigger issues than just that.
Well, I look at it as like you're moving guys to play in spots that they weren't supposed to be playing in. Like Bonino wasn't supposed to be playing third line minutes.
No, he's been doing well though.
Trocheck has been killing it. Honestly,
Love
like
Trocheck.
he looks great. He looks great. He almost looks like a 1C. But then when you have Heedle out as well, that's tough because that second
really
power
hurt.
play unit is like non-existent.
Yeah.
Essentially, you have like 2 AHLers and not Fox on there. Like Fox,
Right.
No Miller. You know what I mean?
And then when you don't have Heedle, then you don't have your 1-2-3 of Heedle, Zibanejad, Trocheck, and then you can guarantee the top 2 D bears against your top 2 lines every single time. So you're not even getting matchups.
Exactly. I also have a problem with like how the Rangers are taking a lot of penalties. Honestly, like the first period, they took 3 penalties, and that's bad because every penalty you take is 2 minutes where Panarin's not on the ice.
Right.
Lafreniere's not on the ice. And those are our best guys at 5v5. So I think the Rangers got to be a little bit more disciplined. I know the penalty kill is like a strength of the team, but if they cut out the penalties, they spend more time on offense, you know? So, and
Well,
they did draw a lot.
Team too.
Yeah, they drew a lot too. But Anaheim is like, they're a young team. So they came out with a lot of energy in that first period. And, you know, the Rangers, they weathered the storm. And the Islanders suck. So, you know, I just had to throw that out there. Like, you know, the Islanders suck. Because they were talking about how the previous game, the Ducks, like, had a really good match against the Islanders. They went up like 2-0 or something. But then the Rangers didn't allow more than 1 goal. Yeah, they allowed a lot of chances, but, you know.
I think that's what's concerning, dude, is because I think if you have an average goalie playing an average game against the Ducks, the score is the other way around. I think that's how much Quick bailed us out. And if Quick's not making those saves, you're not getting the momentum change. Like, if we're really going to rely on Quick and Shesterkin both being well above average goalies for the entirety of the season plus playoffs, probably not going to get very far.
It's not a sustainable formula for success. We've seen it far too often.
We've seen it. I mean, we've seen it our entire lives as Rangers fans. I mean, we watching Henrik Lundqvist carry mediocre teams further than they should have been, and it never got addressed. Like we watched Rangers teams who were beyond content with saying Derek Stepan was a first-line center. I don't think at any point in his career was he ever that. Amongst other glaring issues, like,
I didn't follow the Rangers as closely as I do today. When Stepan was on the team, but at no point did I ever think like Stepan was our first line center.
It was. I started watching the
like
Rangers.
Yeah, like on a technicality, like he's playing first line minutes, but he's not like a Crosby. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell you right now. I started watching the Rangers like to the point where I could physically remember watching games in around 2007 when I was in 2nd grade. I don't think at any point in my tenure as a Rangers fan have we ever had a true number 1 center ever.
Not Michael Nylander.
No, because Michael Nylander was great. On any other team in the league, I don't know if he's a number 1 center. He kind of got carried by Jágr a little bit. But no, Nylander was sick. I loved Michael Nylander. I never thought he was a number 1 center for the Rangers. I don't think we've had a true number 1 center. And when I say you have a number 1 center, that means you're putting that center against every other number 1 center in the league, and he's winning 65 to 70% of those matchups. And I don't think we've ever had that.
Nope.
It's hard to acquire that because it's only like one way really that you have to do it. Like, think about it. Where did these guys come from? Where does Matthews, where does Crosby, where does McKinnon all come from? The draft.
Yeah, we're not good at that.
Yeah,
not very good at that.
Exactly. Like the Rangers are good with their depth picks historically, but
yeah, let's just
atrocious.
botch four straight top 10 picks.
That's what I mean.
That's great.
That's what I mean. Pretty atrocious when it comes. How do you do that? How do you miss on your top picks like that? It doesn't make much sense to me.
Yeah,
but they're perfectly fine with like lower than 15. Like anything that's like 15 or lower is fine.
Yeah, let's just go out and trade up to draft Elias Anderson, even though we wanted Elias Pettersson. Let's just do that. Yeah. Let's draft Vitaly Kravtsov because, why go out and help your defense too? Why go out and get like Evan Bouchard or Noah Dobson? Imagine them on this team.
That was never a thing though.
Or why get Wahlstrom too?
Wahlstrom was the thing. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they could have got Dobson or Bouchard. And imagine that. We're not talking about Jacob Trouba's contracts right now. We're definitely not. Then you have what Will commented. Why go out and get Jack Eichel, who would have been the perfect number one center? Why do that? And then not a center. Why go out and get an elite talent when, okay, maybe the Pagulas were stubborn about giving up Jack Eichel to the Rangers. Why not give the same offer, at least a similar one, to Tkachuk? It just makes zero sense, the logic.
There you go. Right? Exactly. That's your ice cold take. Like, honestly, or Elias Pettersson was a free agent. He was an RFA. Did you see what he was offered? He took $7 million. What's the compensation on that? First, second, and a third?
Whatever it is, I don't know.
If you didn't want to give up the assets for Eichel, why wouldn't you give up 3 picks for?
When was Pettersson an RFA?
The same offseason as Eichel, the Eichel trade rumors. Gallant's first season. So 21. The offseason before the 21-22 season.
So that's essentially then Brennan Othman that would have been out. And then they didn't have their second round pick.
That's okay. There you go.
And their third round pick, they didn't have that either.
So that second round pick, did they trade it before the season or did they trade it?
That's a good question, but they didn't have their third either. But with their second round pick, can I find it? Yeah, that was already gone. Or no, wait, yeah, it was because they traded it with Mark Stahl to clear up that contract because great GMing.
Yeah.
Great GMing because we have to go out and overpay Mark Stahl. Their third round pick, they traded that on draft day though. So fine, like that one they still had, but yeah, they lost their second round pick because they had to move it to get off of the Mark Stahl contract.
God, man. Like that bothers me too. Tkachuk too would have been a really good one to go after.
Yeah.
Even like the following offseason when he ended up getting traded to Florida. That's a game changer. That's the guy that you would want.
Yeah, and I love Brennan Othman, but he's not Matthew Tkachuk. He is not Elias Pettersson. Like I would have been more than okay with them giving up that compensation to go out and get him because realistically you lose out on Othman. You didn't have your second, so who knows what that would have been. And then the third rounder, it was the guy who went in that spot because it ended up getting the Washington, that pick, Brent Johnson. I don't even know who that is. I'll just be straight up. I don't know who that is. I don't think that we'd be crying over losing Brent Johnson. And then if you want to look at the guy who went in the second round, Dallas took Artem Gershnikov. Don't know who that is either. And then Brennan Othman. I don't know. Like, go out and make an aggressive move. Like, that's something that I feel this team has truly been hesitant on. Yeah, and it's just like, you got to do it sometimes. Like, the Colorado Avalanche, they go out and make an offer to get Nazem Kadri. In retrospect, they didn't give up that much, but at the time, everyone's like, wow, they give up Tyson Barrie, who's a solid defenseman. They give up depth and Alex Kerfoot, and then they give up draft capital. Okay, but teams that tend to get the better player in these trades usually win the trades. Just go out and get the guy. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. And Colorado might look to get a center too. Again, I forget who was they were rumored to go after, but like you gotta swing for it.
You gotta give it a shot.
It's hard now though because of the Rangers cap situation. They had a chance. They had the chance, but now they don't have it anymore because
I talked about this with Steven too, about how like poorly constructed this roster is from a cap standpoint. Like you got two right shot defensemen making more than $8 million. They have no forwards in their prime either. Like, yeah, Panarin's playing like he's in his prime, but they have no forwards in their prime. All of them are over 30, and then you have the forwards that are still way too young.
I would argue that Kreider is in his prime. He's never played the way he's playing right now.
I guess if you want to argue that, but there's still way too much inconsistency, and he just doesn't play. To me, I'd argue he played better when he was younger still. Like,
really?
Even if he wasn't putting up the points, I like the way that he played more. Maybe not exactly... Well, when he first came up, yes, I liked his play then, but right before he got the extension too, I liked his play a bit, but I don't know. I mean, that 52-goal season, that was an outlier.
Oh, dude, that was crazy.
That was an outlier.
Might have it again.
He's kind of pacing decently right now. What is he at goal-wise?
He's at 16 goals.
He's at 16?
He just passed Graves for third all-time in Rangers goals.
Which, by the way, you know how sad that is that your third highest scorer of all time only has 200-something goals?
I know.
That is so embarrassing.
Because the Rangers are a franchise built on goaltending.
Yeah, that's a damn shame.
And it still continues. And to go back to the roster construction standpoint, you have your 1, 2, 3, 4 centers making a ridiculous amount of money combined. Although Barclay Goodrow doesn't even play center anymore, so they had to just go out and get Nick Bonino. But if you include Barclay Goodrow in that, you have Hedl too, you have Trocheck, and then you have Zibanejad. None of these guys are really true number one centers either. So you have 4 centers on the book, and not one of them is really a number one center. And Trocheck, yeah, he's playing great right now, but you can't sit here and convince me he's a number one guy.
He's playing like it this year.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see more from that line in particular from the past few games. I think Lafreniere has been kind of invisible. I think that line 5v5 has been very invisible lately, and a lot of the production from Panarin and Trocheck are coming on the power play lately.
I understand that, Lafreniere hasn't had any goals in the last 11 games. I think that's the stat.
He has 1 goal in his last 14 or 15.
But he's still doing a lot. I still notice him out there, actually. He's very aggressive. The one thing that he works with Panarin, he's a retriever. He's a puck retriever. Panarin has not had a good line mate since Foss, pretty much, or Blackwell.
Colin Blackwell.
He has it.
No, you're not wrong. Like a consistent,
consistent line mate that could get him the puck. Think about it. I understand Lafreniere's not scoring points, but he's making really good passes. He's very aggressive.
He's definitely getting him the puck. Yeah,
he's giving Panarin the puck.
I haven't seen it with him lately. I don't think he's been playing great. He had like one good shift, really, I can remember from last night's game, where I think it was in the second period. He clears the puck from the crease. The Rangers get a rush the other way. Goudreau draws a penalty, and then Lafreniere gets a breakaway, doesn't score on it. But that was like the only memorable shift I have from Lafreniere last night. Outside of that, I can't even really point to recently him playing like I can't remember, a respectable effort. Maybe the Kings game. Maybe that game.
He played well. Byfield, I think, outplayed him. Byfield, god damn, that
I didn't see them use the trap that much. When they were at the very beginning of the season, when they were using the trap, that's how they were getting their offense. I almost feel like they should do that.
Teams have kind of figured it out already, though. Like, it might have to change it up a little bit, because I think part of the reason why we're not as effective as we were, despite injuries, is that teams,
that's what Don
the NHL
said. That's what Don said.
Yeah, dude, it's the NHL. Teams aren't like going into games blind. There is plenty of film and plenty of scouting done prior to games. This is not a matter of, oh no, suddenly we can't shut teams down. It's no, teams just figured out how to get around the same system you've been using since game one. Just got to change it up a little bit.
I think it's a bit of that, but I also think that they're not playing the same way. They're not like their breakouts have gotten worse, which is causing them to be on their heels so much, and what's causing them to be in the D zone too much, and they're getting exploited there. And then they're also realizing Igor's not playing the same way he has lately. So let's just go ahead and throw pucks on net. You get a rebound because his rebound control has been horrendous this year. And then you get a broken play, and then you get the goal regardless. So I think it's a lot to do with that. And then also, I'm in the minority with thinking that, Phil Peedle. Well, I shouldn't say I'm in the minority. I should say that I'm in the majority with Phil Peedle being such a huge loss. You're losing a huge possession player. One of the best ways to play defense is being in the offensive zone more, and they just have not really done that either. And you're also having defensemen trying to pinch too much, and it's causing way too many odd man rushes to the point where they can't even set up in the 1-3-1. So I just think they need to all around clean up their game and find their way back to what they were doing in October, because there's a lot of mistakes happening night in and night out. And I'm very concerned. I'm definitely concerned. Like 9 high danger chances against at 5v5 in the second period of last night's game against the Anaheim Ducks. If Quick didn't bail them out last night, I mean, if it was a good team, it would have been a way closer game if Quick didn't bail them out too.
I agree.
Why is my page unresponsive here? I'm looking at it on Natural Stat Trick. Yeah, they gave up 10 for the game.
That's
wait. What was
it's
it?
so bad. The Ducks have scored the 4th least amount of goals in the league.
The third period, they shut it down great.
Yeah, the third period. That's a strength of the Rangers this season. I got to say, like the third periods have been really good.
I mean, you could hang your hat on it last night. Like that's one thing you could really take away as a big positive is they showed they could shut down the Ducks last night, and they allowed the 1 high danger chance. If I had to guess, it was that one. I forgot who it was, but Gustafsson again, like I was saying, puck watching led to it because of a terrible breakout attempt by Trouba. Gustafsson goes puck watching, and then there's a chance right in front of the net that Quick makes a big stop on. But outside of that, they played a good third. They played a really good third, but I still want to see a lot more from this team on the defensive side. Like 7 high danger chances. It says, I guess it updated in the second. That's still not acceptable. It's just not.
It's a complete flip from what it was when we went to that game against Carolina. It was all defense.
Yeah,
it was all defense. We were worried about 5-on-5. All of us. The 3 of us were like, I don't feel. We were like, yeah, the Rangers they don't have it offensively.
No, but it was the defensive master. We own them defensively.
Yeah, we did. That's why I was confident in that game. Like I was like, all right, all the Rangers need to do is keep playing the way that they were playing defensively, but they got to get 1 goal at even strength because no one's taking a penalty in the third period. They have to win that battle, and they coolly got that goal. But you fast forward a little over a month, and it's complete reversal. The Rangers are very good offensively, 5v5. They get a lot of chances, but they also give up a lot. It's like every single game, like within the past 10 games, is like they get 15, but they give up 10 high danger chances. It's pretty crazy. Like looking at it, it's nuts. And a lot of those games were against bad teams.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk to Mike Kelly from NHL Network next week, and I got to ask him if it's like, is this a matter of the Rangers playing up or down? Are they being figured out? Combination of everything? Do they suck defensively? Like, what's the deal here? You know what I mean?
It's really just. I don't know if there was like a change in how much more aggressive they wanted to play offensively, but I truly still feel it's like the defensemen are taking almost too many chances at times.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
I think not just that, I think they're also reading the plays poorly. Like you had that one pinch against Washington from Keandre Miller.
Yeah.
He had no business pinching there. They need to find a way to play like they did against LA. And every time, like the beginning of the season, like you said, the issue was they were not doing enough 5v5 offensively. Now it's the ass opposite. And I was saying it all year, just they need to find a way to get the perfect mix of both going where they're getting that 5v5 offense and they're still playing good defense. I, for one, would rather them play more of a defensive game because that's the way you win in the playoffs. Like, look at how far that took the Islanders. Their best goal scorer was arguably Jordan Eberle at the time. So I would just prefer for them to play that way, but that's just me.
It's probably going to be like they got to play situationally because these are not defensive players at all. Like this is not a team that could sit in the trap for 60 minutes.
Right.
Like Zibanejad is not going to do that the entire game. Like if you get a 1 or 2 goal lead, yeah, shift to that. Exactly. Do that.
That's even more concerning then. If you feel that way.
Well, I know they create offense out of the defense based on how they played in the beginning of the season. That's how they were doing it. Lots of neutral zone turnovers they were forcing, odd man rushes or even man, whatever you want to call it. Rushes going back the other way, and that's how they were getting their offense. And then creating long shifts in the offensive zone, which is not what they were doing last year. Mm-hmm. Last year, it was just like, I don't know what the hell we're doing. Let's just put the lines in a blender and call it a day. That's what I like about Laviolette. He doesn't change anything up, really.
Right.
Keeps it consistent. I mean, like, all right, the Rangers are winning. I understand, like, there's concern that they're not playing the way that they should be playing. There's flaws with the team. Absolutely. There's flaws with a lot of other teams.
Mm-hmm.
Always. Like, Tampa Bay's not in the playoffs right now.
That still blows my mind.
That's crazy. Carolina, the other day I was checking. They were out of a playoff spot.
That was a bad pick by Nick, by the way. I picked them to win the President's Trophy, dude.
Oh, yeah. I was with you on the Carolina bandwagon.
Dude, I thought the Canes were going to be sick.
Yeah.
I was more so feeling that because I thought they got better in that they literally, instead of losing guys, they just added Orlov. Svechnikov comes back off injury, and they sign Michael Bunting, and they've just been terrible. They're fourth. I mean, I say terrible. They're fourth in the Metro, but in terms of point percentage in the Metro, they're sixth.
It's still early. Like, the Flyers are in a spot.
And so the Capitals too.
Yeah.
The Rangers win today. I mean, we're back atop the NHL in both points and point percentage.
This is not like I agree that there's flaws. Like, this is not me saying that they're a dog shit team. They're not going to be able to compete with anyone. But like, I watch a team like the Florida Panthers play, and they just play a way better game. Like, they just play a way better game. You watch any of these teams out west, especially a team like the Kings, Dallas, who
we saw it against Nashville, dude.
Yeah, it's just like I watch some of these teams play just a way better game than the Rangers, and I'm just confused more than anything as to what happened from what we saw in early November and October to what we're seeing now.
Man, it's got to be.
I mean, outside of the injuries, like,
but that's a lot to ask for out of the players. You know what I mean? Like, that's two guys out of your top 12 forwards.
The structure shouldn't break this much, though, just because you lost a couple guys. Like, you gotta stick to your system.
Yeah,
you gotta be able to stick to it.
Is that it fell apart, and it fell apart fast.
Yeah.
Like, the wheels came off just so quick, dude. Like, it felt like we didn't even get a chance to respond.
They've underrated at a poor last month. Like, if they played a better team last night, you could argue they lose that game, or it's at least close. And then you play Boston tonight, you lose that. All of a sudden, they're 1-5 in their last 6, and then people are more concerned. It's just that a lot of things have masked the issues, and it's a tale as old as time. Goaltending masking the issues at points with this defense.
But you know what's crazy? It's like just Quick that's masking the issues. It's not Shesterkin, because Shesterkin has been giving up a lot of goals. So are you guys like concerned with Shesterkin? I know I'm not.
I think he's too good really to be concerned about. It does suck. We're pretty fortunate that Quick's playing as well as he is now, because if Quick played like preseason Jonathan Quick, we might be talking about us being 6th or 7th in the Metro.
I agree. This team's nowhere near where they are. Like, Jonathan Quick has stole so many games for this team, and I'm not saying that Igor's, a terrible goalie. Like, I still think he's a great goalie. I think the whole Lundqvist comparisons need to stop, though.
Yeah, exactly.
It needs to stop. People need to stop expecting. Yeah, people need to stop expecting something that he's not. He's a good goalie when he's at his best. Could be an elite goalie, but he's not going to be what Lundqvist is. So people need to lower the expectations there. But there is definitely concern. There's way too many rebounds being left open. His high glove is getting exposed way too much. That Connor Timmins goal, he was completely guessing on it. Ugly. The third goal that Toronto scored happened because he couldn't stop the initial shot. Then the rebound comes. It's a broken play. There's way too many of that happening with Igor. I'm not overly concerned because I think he can bounce back. The thing that concerns me the most about him is how much he's in his own head at times.
Yeah.
Like, he needs to he needs to lighten up on himself. Like, you could tell he's visibly frustrated at times. That post game too, he needs to mentally just keep it together and, you know, realize the fans have his back and that he'll be fine. Like, he could get back to his game, and, you know, I actually have an ice cold take about Igor. So I did my homework. I wanted to come prepared for the ice cold take this time.
Right now. Okay, here
we could.
Go. Ice cold take, an accurate statement backed by facts and observations that is solid in nature, similar to a block of ice, i.e. spot on claim. Go for it.
My ice cold take is that Igor Shesterkin bounces back and the Rangers goaltending tandem wins the Jennings Trophy. That's my ice cold take.
You stole mine! Holy crap, man! You read me like a book.
Predictable day.
Predictable day.
I am so proud right now.
Yeah, that's my ice cold take. I think that Shesterkin's too good to not rebound, and
100%.
No, I'm not someone that's overly concerned. I know most people are, but has he been bad? Yeah, I mean, there's no way around it, but I truly think that everything will be fine. And I think once the team, if they could start playing better in front of him, that would go a long way as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel the same way. I was going to say Jennings Trophy, and then I saw like the struggles, and it's like, okay, I don't know. There's still time in the season though I think that's within reason. Like that's certainly possible.
Definitely is, especially with the way the goaltending has been this year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Shesterkin, I'm not concerned with him. Like, I just hope that Laviolette doesn't be like, all right, Quick's the starter now. Like, because that would just mess things up. Just trust Benny Allaire, and he'll fix it.
I wouldn't be opposed to giving Quick extra starts for now until Igor snaps back into it, though. But yeah, like in terms of anyone saying Quick, the number one goalie, this and that, no, I'm not there yet with it. Talk to me come February. If Igor's still struggling and Quick's still playing this way, then, you know, then we could have that conversation. For right now, though, you got to just let Igor get into some of these games. I would have gave him last night still, give him the lesser opponent, but that's just me.
You might see Shesterkin come out on fire for this game.
You wouldn't mind it.
I hope so.
We will be there.
Yeah.
I need that more than anything, some might say.
Last season, that stretch where he was struggling, you guys remember that, right? It was a pretty bad stretch in like February into March-ish, I think. Early February, I think it was. But someone was saying like he was a fraud because the Vezina season was fraudulent. I was like, dude, calm down.
It wasn't fraudulent. People could be quiet. Like, he was legit good that year. Is he gonna play that level? No. People are just unrealistic. Like, they see that once and they think, oh, that's the goalie he could be all the time. It was unreal what he did, and there's a reason people were talking about him being a Hart Trophy candidate, because it's so rare to see a goaltender have that type of season. It was Dominic Hasek levels.
Yeah. Like, those stats were not replicable in NHL history. You've never seen that before. That 935 save percentage. You kidding me?
No. That's and anyone that thought that was possible to happen again, then like, good on you.
That's when people were like, oh, is he the next Lundqvist? Is he like, can he be better than Lundqvist? I'm like, dude, it's only one season. Like, Lundqvist played that way 15 seasons in a row. Like, that's hard to do, man. Like, I mean, he's a great goaltender.
I still think he's a top 3 goalie in the league.
Lundqvist, though, that's hard to do, man. That's just, it's damn near
There's
impossible.
A reason Lundqvist is considered the best of his generation. Like, people can expect that, especially when the goaltending competition, when guys are at their best, is so tough. You have Ilya Sorokin in the same division as you. You have Andrei Vasilevsky, who just doesn't go away. And then you have a bunch of other goalies like Connor Hellebuck, who's still hanging around. Jake Ottinger's on the up and up. Like, there's so much good goaltending in the league, and people just need to lower their expectations with him. If he could just be like a 915 to 920 guy, then I'm more than comfortable. Yeah, more than comfortable.
I agree. I agree with you too. What you said before, that he's got to calm down a little bit. Like, he gets in his own head. Like, he's swinging the stick, like breaking his stick and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, just, all right, relax, Igor.
Take a breath.
Yep, take a breath. Fix it in practice.
Yep,
we got you. Like, we're behind. Like fans, we got to be behind him because he's been great. Like he's arguably the most important part of the team. Like they need him. If you don't have him
more than anything
at his best, that's it. There is no window for the Stanley Cup. I need it more than anything. Yes.
Oh man.
Nick, do you have an ice cold take?
Yeah, the Rangers aren't going to make a move until the month of the deadline, which I don't want to say that, but it's the truth.
You said that so.
This negative guy here,
dude. It's such an, and I hate it, but I mean, dude, just even with all these fucking injuries, how the fuck when the Lightning put Kucherov up on LTIR, they could do all that shit. Why can't we do anything with our LTIR? What's the difference? What am I missing?
What you're missing is that the Rangers are gonna just do the Brian Cashman this year. Maybe they're going to get Filipino back. They're gonna get Capo Caco back and be like, oh, hooray! Our deadline acquisitions, the Mets special too. Jacob deGrom back. Mission accomplished. We got our trade deadline acquisition done. Look at that. We didn't give up an asset.
It sucks. The Rangers gotta do something, bro.
I think it's because they know that they're coming back. They know with certainty that they're gonna come back before the regular season ends. If they didn't know
come
that,
back tomorrow and there would still be issues that need solving. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't know if it's that as much as I think that maybe with it's just the fact that it's hard to make a trade in December. Like maybe they don't want to rush a move just to make a move, which I could respect that, but you got to at least. I hope at least they're making phone calls. Like they gotta go.
Seeing what's around, who might become available.
They need to get a defenseman this year. We didn't even address what we talked about before. Brain Schneider, he's dog shit.
He's like he's like the Del Zotto. It feels like
somebody made that comparison in my post game a couple nights ago. That he's the modern day Michael Del Zotto. He came up, peaked early, looked great, and then just started to tail off more and more as the seasons went along.
And funny enough, I remember being so pissed at Del Zotto. Like I remember wanting to trade him. I'm like, this guy sucks. Let's get rid of him. Please trade him. Please trade him. And then they finally traded him, and they got Klein back. But
I'm that way with Schneider.
It's kind of feeling like it's coming full circle here.
Yeah, I'm that way with Schneider. I'm out on Schneider. I'm going to be honest.
We just need to find the Kevin Klein version in 2024 or 2023, whenever they decide. If they decide.
The problem is there's not a lot of good defensemen up on the market. Like a guy that's outside of Chris Tanev, another guy that's interesting me is Alexander Carrier. I think Alexander Carrier could be a nice little ad for the third pair. He's not going to.
He's an option.
He's an option, yeah. It doesn't hurt to be Jack Carl.
Nashville's got to have somebody.
The only two defensemen that might be available on Nashville are Dante Fabro, but he's an RFA, so I'm not sure if they're going to want to give him up, and he's 25. No. Don't think that's happening. But Alexander Carrier is a UFA. That's realistic. And if you look at his metrics, he's usually in the positives when it comes to his defensive side of things, which is something that you need. You need that more than anything. You need someone that's going to play good defense on that third pair, because Schneider, he's not cutting it. No. He's just not cutting it. And I think Tanev is still a good ad. I know that Matt in the chat brought up, I think it was Sean Walker as an option. Sean Walker would be a very good ad. Yeah, that was the one we talked about. His metrics were ridiculous. I don't know if there still are, but yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Holy shit. He's good.
Sean Walker?
Yeah, Sean Walker's great.
He's on the Kings, right?
No, he's on Philly now.
Ooh, all right. Well, we gotta wait and see if Philly's.
Philly will have to tail off for that to happen. But I'm gonna send his chart in the Twitter group chat if you want to put it up on screen right now. But
you could share. I'll give you permission.
Is there a way I could just put the picture up, because I saved it as a screenshot already?
Just send it to me. That's fine.
Yeah, I'll just send it in the group chat. But yeah, his charts unreal. Like that would be a good ad if they could go out and get Sean Walker. I don't know who else really they could get outside of that.
There's just no one available. I mean, this is gonna be a really crappy deadline.
Yeah, this deadline's going to be boring, and like some of the trades are already happening early, so it's probably going to be boring. But hopefully, somehow the Rangers surprise us with if they can find a way to get Sean Walker and Andrew Mangiapane, we will be there if it's possible.
Is it sharing? I can't
Dude, yeah, he would be sick.
Yeah, there.
Yeah, Sean Walker, that's good. Yeah. Stop sharing here. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Blue
numbers, dude.
Yeah. Well, I have my ice cold take, and some of you guys probably not gonna like it.
Oh gosh.
But I think it needs to be said. All right, so the extent of the reaction by some fans to the Rangers' flaws when they lose is not in line with what the team has done this season. That's why me and probably a lot of other people get mad. Like, don't get me wrong. Complain about the team, by all means, but it's not the end of the world.
No,
would you agree? Would you agree with that? Like, it's not the end of the world.
Well, here's the thing: the problem that I have with some of the fans that are like, "Oh, it's okay, don't worry," is the fact that they try to gatekeep you if you're critical of the team.
Okay,
and they're like,
all right. I agree. I agree.
Those are the people that are like, "Oh, you're not a real fan if you talk bad on the team." I don't like, but way too positive D. That's in chat.
Positive D.
Way too positive D. But
come on, first place. First place, but I'm not gonna say be here and be like, oh, you're less of a Rangers fan. Let's cancel.
Right.
I don't like you. I'm not gonna be friends with you. You don't like Kreider and Zibanejad. You don't like that they hug. You're not a Rangers fan. I'm not gonna be like that. I'm just saying, like, all right, this team is dog shit. No, they're not dog shit. They're just playing bad. They're still a top team. Like, all right, maybe not a cup contender, a playoff team. But when you get to the playoffs, anything could happen. Like I said last week, I'd rather be a playoff team and just you see what happens. See what happens. That's what the 2013-14 Rangers were. You look at the Phillies; they just snuck in there and they went on a miracle run, almost won the World Series. All these teams that win the President's Trophy, like Boston last year, Tampa Bay against Columbus, that 18-19, they got their ass kicked. They got a target on their back.
The comment from Laugh is exactly why people like him, people like me, people like Matt, and all of us lose our minds is because of the fact that when they lose, it is bad. Like they're not even in a close game with who they're playing. It's if they played a tight defensive game or say it's a shooting match and they just lose, at least you could be like
6-5.
Yeah, at least you could be like, all right, fine. The other team was just there that day, but like it's the fact that they get blown out. I mean,
5-1 to Ottawa, and they suck.
Yeah. That one, like
that was terrible.
6-2 to Ottawa. That was a bad one. That was a really poor effort by the Rangers. I'm not going to even argue that.
Yeah, like those. That's the issue. If they were in closer games, especially defensive games, like that would be like, then I'd be like, all right, fine. It just wasn't their night, but. It's the fact that with the way they're losing games that just concerns me.
They're kind of boring too. Like, I mean, am I wrong in saying that the Rangers are kind of a boring team?
Right now? No, you're not wrong. The Garden's a library this year. Every game I'm at, there's way too quiet.
I don't want to say I'm not looking forward to games. That's not true. I always look forward to Ranger games. But when I watch them, I don't feel like I'm getting like excited while watching them.
No, like there'll be the occasional where it's like, oh, the Rangers get a big power play, like.
Right.
You get hyped about that, but or they'll have the occasional bullshit penalty, everyone in the crowd chanting asshole at the ref, and then they have a big kill and the crowd's on their feet. But that's really
it's not a lot of excitement. It's a very vanilla
1920 was a good year, like excitement wise for the Rangers. Like the fans were always into the games. 21-22, they were always in the games as well.
Yeah.
I agree with you guys. This year
it hasn't been as fun, I feel.
And I'll agree about the blowout things, but the Rangers have shown resiliency this year.
Yes.
They have had a lot of comeback games, but
if you want me to be negative, like I could tell you about how the season reeks to me. This reeks a bit of the 15-16 season in a way to me, where it feels like they'll make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Feels like they'll make the playoffs. But when they get in, I just have my concerns because of the way that they play. Like, I hope I'm wrong. And like, fine, it's only December. They could turn it around come January, February, March, make their deadline acquisitions and get back to playing the right way. Fine. But with the way they're playing right now, if the playoffs started today or if they keep playing this way throughout the remainder of the season, I don't think they beat Florida. I don't think they could. I have concerns about playing the Islanders even. Like, that's just me.
If the Rangers play the way they play against the top teams, like I showed you those stats the other day, it's really crazy. Like they play way better against teams like the top teams than they do against the bottom teams. It's crazy. They
play
gave
level
up like
their opponent
almost 20 high danger chances to San Jose, which is like the worst team in the league, one of the worst teams in the league, and they only give up 5 to LA. Like how?
Dude, it's fucking bizarre.
But if they play like the way they played against Boston or against like that LA game, the way they played against LA, if they play like that in the playoffs,
the LA game, yeah, if they could find like
mint game,
big ass though. So you don't know if they're going to be able to do that.
That's the biggest issue. Is like I said in the group chat, and like I've said ad nauseum, is consistency with the score seems to be their Achilles heel, and we're 3 coaches in, and it still feels more of the same.
Yeah,
I'm hoping they could change it, but it just worries me. It just worries me, the inconsistency, taking periods off. It can't fly. It just can't. And they're not going to play a full 60 night in, night out. It's unrealistic, but they need to at least be playing close to that and like giving a respectable effort at the very least.
When you were brought up 15-16, I thought you were going to say like in terms of how they started the season and then how it kind of tapered off at the end.
I mean, that too, like a bit of both, like because that. It's a combination of both things, to be honest with you.
15-16, was that the year Lindbergh came up? Or was that
15-16 was the second year of Yandel. We got Eric Stahl at the deadline.
Yes.
And like it was like, oh, it's gonna be the Kevin Hayes, Rick Nash, Eric Stahl line that never even happened, and just the Rangers just sucked.
And they got waxed by Pittsburgh in round 1.
Yeah. They got molested. Like it was like to the point where you could have called the cops. It was terrible.
Yeah, like, they should have got swept.
They went into both of those seasons, 15-16 and 16-17, with like hunger. Like you could see like the way Lundqvist was playing, how the players were going for offense and stuff like that. They were a very hungry team.
I think a big ball drop too was 16-17 when we lost to Ottawa. We should have won that. We should have won that series against Ottawa. I think if we beat Ottawa, I think we have a good chance against Pittsburgh, and I don't think we lose. That would
have been another 6-7 game series.
They fumbled so many chances, like not capitalizing too on bad opponents closing series out quicker. Like Philly in 2014. That should not have went 7 games. They should have. That
was terrible. That was so bad.
No, Philly was a bad team. They should have won in 5 very easily.
Yeah,
that shouldn't have even been a series.
First game of the season, best all around game. I think the LA game was really good, man.
Yeah, I think the LA game was one of the best games I've ever seen the Rangers play.
And I'm saying that because they played a really good team. Like Buffalo, you can't compare to LA.
I would say Buffalo's up there. I loved the game against Arizona. The LA game too. Yeah, those are like my top 3. I'd probably rank it. I'd probably agree with you. I'd go LA, Arizona, Buffalo in terms of the efforts, or maybe flip Buffalo and Arizona. But
that Boston game, in terms of entertainment, though, that was
for entertainment, yeah. But for me, I was biting my fingernails hearing Bruin fans in the crowd sing their shitty ass goal song. So like that wasn't fun.
I didn't even hear that. Did you guys hear? They were trying to do a quick chant last night.
Yeah.
I didn't hear what was it? What were they trying to say? Was it Quickie or JQ?
At first, it was Quickie. Then some fans started chanting Johnny. I'm like, which one are we fucking going with? Like, they couldn't make up their minds. I don't know if people miss Jesper Foss, so they wanted to stop chanting Quickie, but
yeah,
it was both last night. It was weird.
The first game against the Wings and Kings game were best. Like the way they started that first game against the Wings, not the third period. Yeah, that was awesome. How they played
third period. Yeah,
that third period was like a total collapse. We don't remember that.
Is it just me, or is the whole NHL kind of more boring this year?
Yeah,
I have to watch more the rest of the league. Honestly,
I
I'm
feel like
not
there's
doing
not
a
like
good job at all.
I don't feel like we're seeing like the super high level elite talent that we were seeing last year and the year before. And maybe it's the McDavid effect because McDavid's not having as good of a year. But I just feel like the league is just kind of slower, a little more boring this year.
I mean, Tom
Maybe it's my
Brady said
perspective.
about the NFL that it's a mediocre league now, and I feel that way about the NHL. Like, I
You
feel
can't
like
do anything anymore. You can't hit.
Yeah.
You can't do anything. In NFL, you can't hit the quarterback like a second after he throws the ball. You can't do anything. It's
I
ridiculous.
just feel like we're just not like hearing that. We're not like seeing like
yeah, like the biggest drama is
as
Jacob
much.
Chikrin going into the fucking wrong locker room. Like, come on, like that's the best we got this season, and
like
coaches being fired left and right. The Bedard moms thing, Jordan Kyrou being booed, like, or
what did you guys think of that? I feel bad for Berube, honestly. Like,
I don't know.
Berube shouldn't have got.
That's ridiculous.
He shouldn't have got fired, but I saw it coming. Like I felt like this year he was gonna get fired, even if it was undeservedly so. Like it just felt like it was gonna be the time, even though he shouldn't have got the axe.
They should probably build a statue for that man, because how many times did the Blues make playoff runs and just not come through? And then they finally did it with Berube.
Yeah,
everybody at least expected it.
Yeah, now they should go out and get Gerard Gallant and then build a statue for him.
I don't know what Kyrou was doing, like, with that like, I really don't understand what he was trying to say with it. Like, and then he got emotional after the game, and then I felt bad for him. But like, that's a hockey town, so it's like, I feel.
I think the whole situation was handled poorly from every aspect. I think Kyrou was stupid for making the comments.
Yeah.
I think that the booing was overboard with that, and I think that Kyrou, fine, I get you're upset, but like borderline crying over the booing. It's like, I don't know. Like, I feel like the entire thing was handled poorly from the entire from the fans and Kyrou. Like, I think that was just handled poorly.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody will pick up Craig Berube.
Yeah, he won't be unemployed long. He'll have a role somewhere. Might not even be a coach role. He'll get a role somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
he's too good of a coach.
Yeah, he'll probably get a job soon. Who was it that? No, Minnesota hired.
Minnesota should have.
Hines.
Laugh is saying extend Lambert. Yeah, I was joking. So the way I know Berube is like, one of the customers at the store is he's friends with, he graduated with Berube's wife, so he's good friends with Berube, and he's an Islanders fan. So I'm like, watch Lambert get fired, and then the Islanders hire Berube, and the guy I know just goes crazy or something like that. Watch that happen.
Do you want me to be an asshole?
Go ahead.
You know who maybe makes a coaching change after this year if they miss the playoffs?
The Rangers.
The Devils.
It just extended rough though.
Yeah, but it's not uncommon to fire a guy even after you extend them.
Really?
Craig Berube in New Jersey.
No, stop the Z. I don't want to hear it. Enough.
Or Montreal. Maybe St. Louis finally gets the X. Maybe Craig Berube goes to Montreal.
Marty St. Louis. Still love that guy.
Love that guy, but I don't think he should be an NHL coach.
Woodcroft got extended and then fired. Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Can we start a rumor that Minnesota sucks really bad and they're gonna trade all their top assets and Kaprizov's gonna come? No, Kaprizov's gonna become available. Gonna be pretty soon.
We will be there.
Yeah, we'll be there for that.
And they retain a year on the contract,
bro.
I would love that.
No, they're gonna retain all three.
What's the cap hit? What's Zuccarello's cap hit?
$6 million, and then after that's $4.1 million.
Ooh, okay.
I'm just saying,
man, watching Frank Vetrano last night,
he looked bad.
That hurt more than a razor scooter to the shin bone. Watching him play, like
honestly,
he didn't have the best game.
I thought he sucked last night.
I didn't think he sucked. I thought he played okay, but it's like, I wish he was still here. I really do.
Same.
I thought for sure it was a lock that he was scoring, especially that on that one power play where he got the cross crease pass and had the wide open net.
Yeah.
I thought that was it right there.
He didn't get the shot off though.
Yeah. I thought that was the goal right there. And I thought it was a lock. Ryan Strome scores a tap-in goal because of course, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't miss the net.
Irony. Last question, guys. Weakest link on the team right now.
Blake Wheeler.
Right now.
Blake Wheeler.
That's a fair pick.
I'm not taking cap hit. I'm not taking anything into context except for the fact we're talking strictly about a player who is beyond the. When you say the weakest link, the thing that comes to mind is the most replaceable. Blake Wheeler.
Okay. I have two. Well, technically three, honestly, but I know you're gonna say Schneider, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
I'll go different then. To me, it's between two guys, but if we're going for a guy that's, more like get him the fuck off my team, it's Barclay Goodrow. And it's very easy. Like a cap hit aside, Adam Edstrom came up and played a better game than I've seen Barclay Goodrow play ever in a fucking Rangers sweater. Like I don't understand what this guy brings to the table that people are like, oh, he brings intangibles. What fucking intangibles am I missing? Like, oh, cool. He did. Someone said this in my post game. Oh, he was great for being calm, cool, and collected when Gudis whacked him. So then they got a power play. Yeah, that's cool. But
I can think of a lot of other players that aren't making nearly $4 million that could do the same.
Yeah, like what am I missing here? And he's having his worst year, obviously, right now.
He sucks.
And the Rangers signed a bunch of guys for league minimum that are outplaying him. Like Nick Bonino's been better. Jimmy Vesey is far and away better. Brodzinski comes up better. Pitlick better. Cooley in his first full season better. Edstrom coming up looked better. Like I don't.
Literally anybody is better. How this guy.
I want to know what I'm missing. Somebody needs to tell me what I'm not putting together here.
I think it'll be a while before the Rangers hand out another one of those contracts because they've drafted a lot of guys.
Say that every time, and then they fucking find a way to do it.
They have a lot of guys in the minors now that fit that role.
Was Pop strong for laughing at the serious moment?
Dude, I think that the worst thing that ever happened to the Rangers was that Tom Wilson incident, because the second that happened, it was all about, oh, we need to get tougher. Then it was literally in one offseason signing Tenorti, trading a third-round pick for Ryan Reeves, trading Buchnevich for Semi Blay in a second. Like that was the worst possible thing that could have ever happened. It got JD and Gordon fired, which...
No, they were fired before that.
Hey. I don't know about all that, but either way,
they were fired after the Wilson incident, and then they didn't want to be a part of the statement, and then they got canned. So
yeah, this shit was.
John, that comment couldn't be any more spot on. He was arguably the worst of those cup winning teams in Tampa.
It was terrible.
Outside of maybe
$3.6 million a year. How are we that?
Outside of fine, Zach Bogosian, if you want to be technical with who was the worst on a cup winning team, or like Kevin Shattenkirk, but. It's so stupid. Even because people are like, oh, if he was making $2 million or $1.5 million, he'd be acceptable. No, he doesn't do anything for this team that moves me, and he needs to be. They need to find a way to get him off the books by the deadline.
He's as effective as Tanner Glass was when Tanner Glass was making $1.4 million. He's as effective and equally as disliked.
He's not at all what he's advertised to be.
No, he's terrible.
Like I thought,
he's awful.
I thought he would be like an analytical.
He was the ass opposite in Tampa too. Like it was. There were nobody in their right mind that knew anything about Barclay Goodrow. Was like, oh yes, yeah, we need him, and we need to sign a fourth line center, a fourth line winger at best, to a 6-year contract. None of it ever made sense. It was stupid. I remember I was at work when I saw the Rangers traded for Goodrow, and I was like, fuck. And then I saw the extension. I was like, fuck, even louder, because it was stupid. It made no sense. Start to finish, he should have never been on the team for $3.6 million. And I was like, well, that's the price you play for a guy who won a Stanley Cup. Fuck him and his Stanley Cups. That's not the point. The point was you're paying a literal fourth liner who isn't even as effective as most fourth liners in the NHL. $3.6 million. He is making the same amount of money as a consistent 20-goal scorer named Frank Vatrano, who we let walk.
Yeah, so Pat Maroon's worth 3.6 too.
I digress. I'm about to wig the fuck out right now.
I didn't hate the trade at first because I was like, all right, you're getting fourth line help. I didn't hate the trade. I hated the extension though. The extension was garbage.
I hated it. It was stupid. It made no sense.
I thought at most he was gonna get like 3 years and sign for like 1.5 mil, and I would have been like, all right, fine. But once they announced 6 years at 3.6,
a bitch.
Terrible.
Over it. Hold on. Let's
wait. I gotta get something off my chest.
All right, you get something off your chest. I'm gonna fucking do this real quick.
You guys are gonna get mad at me, but I kind of wanted Gaudreau. I actually not kind of. I did want Gaudreau. I wanted a player like that. I wanted like Bonino or Gaudreau, one of those guys, because I thought they would be good for like bottom 6 players. Like I didn't think they were gonna get 6 years though. And
Joey, I was.
Wait, hang on. I didn't think that was going to be the price. I was like, oh, yeah, I want that player. But I was like, oh, yeah, for probably like 1 year, like $1 million. And then it's like, all right, here, 6 years, 3.6. What?
I was with you, Joey. I made an entire video about bottom 6 guys the Rangers could get, and Parker Gaudreau was one of them. Right, I didn't think he was going to get that much money, though.
Can we
That's what I mean.
Let's go over something real quick, right? Just gonna do this real quick. We're talking about the 2021 free agency when we got Barclay Gaudreau.
1.8 mil per cup.
All right, Barclay Gaudreau got an AAV of 3.6. Go F your mother, right? Okay, good. These are all the 2021 free agents that made less than Barclay Gaudreau, starting from Pius Suter and working your way down. Brock McGinn, better. Sean Crowley, better. Nick Ritchie, terrible. Holla, better. But at the time, probably. Matthias Janmark, Jordan Martinook, Luke Lindbenning, David Kampf, Thomas Nosek, Marcus Johansson, Evander, Stepan, Derek Ryan, Kasha, Oh, Freddie Gaudreau, Danton Heinen.
Our guy.
Corey Perry, who is as effective.
Could Archibald please be here?
Michael Bunting, Tyler Ennis, Derek Brassard, Cogliano, Evan Rodriguez, Darren Helm, Jim Lee VC, Nate Thompson, any of these players in the NHL now or not would probably have been a better choice.
Is Archibald there?
I don't even know who. I'm so pissed right now. Like, or here's an idea. Just none of them.
This is the off season that they became free agent. That Gaudreau was a free agent.
Correct. Gaudreau would have been part of his UFA class. I'm telling you right now. I just named 10 guys that are better than him today.
Zach Hyman was
you could have had for less. Yeah.
That was the year he signed with Edmonton.
Yes, Edmonton broke the Hyman that year. It was Philip Deneau. It's like, bro, there were so many Jack Harlow options. Like, it just didn't make sense. Like, to fucking just.
Yeah, Deneau was an interesting. Deneau was interesting for me because I like the player, but for what it was reported that he was asking, I'm like, I don't think.
I was the only Ranger fan banging the Zach Hyman drum. Like, I was beating that drum that it would have been. That would have been a good move, and sure enough, he goes to Edmonton.
Hyman's a center.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
This is Spotrac, so I would just
don't.
But it's like, dude, I mean, in terms of AAV, I mean, look at all the guys that offseason. Savard, Edler, it's just guys that made less money than he did.
Del Zotto.
Yeah, Del Zotto.
Tenorti.
I don't know. He sucks, and we did not need to make that move. We by no means needed to make that move. Or we could have just, again, never let Jesper Foss go in the first place and had him for $1.6 million less than Barclay Gaudreau. Right? Like that's also an option.
Marty Natchez.
Trade rumors. They won't trade him to the Rangers, so just put that to bed. Just right off the rip. Don't even worry about that.
My buddy used to work out with Marty Natchez, the guy I started the podcast with a long time ago. He worked out with Natchez. That's pretty cool. Nick, you need to meet Archibald.
Give me Archibald, bro. Give me Archibald, bro.
Bring back Tyler Mott.
I need that more than anything.
Yeah, I need it more than anything. Frustrating. Also, weakest link on the team, I say Schneider. Rangers have given up 34 high danger goals against at 5v5 this year. Schneider has been out there for 16. That's 47%.
Yeah, he sucks. I said in the preseason, he sucks. That was one guy I was actually right about when assessing him in the preseason.
I had his back for the longest time, and now I'm starting to look the other way. I'm sorry, Braden.
Wears the same number as Delzato too. It's just
perfect, I know. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh God, maybe he really is the next Delzato. History is repeating itself.
Unrelated to this conversation, every time I see Johnny Brzezinski with that number 22 and the long last name, I just think it's Shattenkirk on the ice.
Yeah,
like it throws me off every time. Oh, and weakest weakest guy on the Mets, Joey Wendell.
Oh my God.
I just want to throw that out there because I hate Joey Wendell.
I hate the Mets.
Me too.
That's another thing too, like why we get mad at our team. Because another reason like why we get mad too is because we're expecting the other shoe to drop, and that's the entire existence of the Mets. It's like, all right,
fuck the Mets.
Things are going right. Things are going good. We got a good owner. He's spending money on the team. He's getting players that are good. But when's it all gonna go wrong? Injuries happen. Underperforming.
Old Mets.
Yankees get Soto. You know what I mean? Like Dodgers get Ohtani. Nothing. Like there's no good.
Just the Mets. Everything the Mets do, everything the Mets touch is just terrible.
At least the Mets lucked out with the Scherzer trade because he's now out.
Yay!
Yeah. He's out for what, this season or half the season?
Probably half.
We got Acuna, who's gonna just be compared to his brother the whole time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyways, fellas,
I'm ready for lunch.
Quick announcement for anybody going to the Rangers Stadium Series game. We're gonna be putting me, Nick, and Evan are trying to do Rangers trivia. We want to do some content. We want to film some content there. So if you're there, hit us up. We'll do some content. We'll give out some prizes. I have some prizes that I could give away, but you got to answer some trivia questions. What are you doing, Nick?
Answer the question.
Yeah.
Recording.
Yeah. We will be there. I need it more than anything. Mbappe.
Yes. The double meme.
Yes. Need it more than anything. What is it?
We will not be going Barack to Jersey after that. I'm afraid of New Jersey.
We will not be going Barack to Jersey.
New Jersey.
It's Jover after that one.
Yeah, it's Jover after that.
I have a target on my back there anyway. I'm scared. I'm glad they're not playing the Devils. That would have been a nightmare. Devil fans, like,
ugly.
There's a target on my back with Devil fans. It's bad.
All right. Well, anyways, fellas, thanks for being here, doing the pod with me. Everybody watching on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and YouTube, thanks for being here. I hope you enjoyed the show. Go Rangers. Hopefully we get a nice win against the Bruins tonight.
Need it.
We'll see you guys next week.
More than anything.
Need it more than anything. Deuces.